Thank you, diary listeners. Welcome back to our third and final part with Casey Hart of Foxwood Tattoo Collective. I just love those little alliterations. Aren't they great? Rhyming. This is the third part, and we're dubbing this Scale, because after you've done so much, there's just always more to do. Enjoy, listeners. Welcome to the Apprenticeship Diaries, where raw meets refined.
Let's be real, we're still working on refined.
What it took, what it takes, and the stories that are made.
Join us as we learn from professionals about how their stories began.
Essentially what I said to this person was, because their comment, and this was all on social media, so of course it's a fest. I love social media because I love the challenge of watching the human condition on that space.
Absolutely, because they don't know what to do. Their body doesn't know what to do. Their mind doesn't know what to do, and they put on a projection.
Right. Plus, I have aims to, at least in my bullet point future, I'd love to write a book.
Sure,
I'd love to become a lot more concise with my words and how I frame things. And when you put it on the most, I think, ardent litmus test for that, which is social media, to just register how massively people can twist. I think it was Chesterton, is it Chesterton? G.K. Chesterton, that wrote that if you can watch your, I'm going to brutalize the quote, but if you can watch your being be twisted and contorted by knaves, you know, like that, when you can stand and know that you're a person, even though everybody's going to take everything that you are and twist it.
Absolutely.
And be. That's a great point of being. And so that's the challenge that I put myself in alignment with. I'm very intentional about it, very aware. You know, it's something that I'm exposing myself to, but this was all happening there. And basically I the whole post was like trying to vilify people who would dare to help you in your journey.
Sure.
But they weren't helping you in the way that you wanted help.
Well, they were enabling.
Right. Well, or they weren't enabling.
Or, yeah, the opposite.
I think a lot of people want enablement. Like
Correct.
you said, they seek that comfort, and they want to be comfort in their and they want to be told, oh, it's okay, and it is okay. It is what it is, though. And if you're seeking, and this post was very much so about seeking God.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, well, with a seeking of God, there's a seeking of truth.
And self.
And self. And and God, if you were to perceive it, is full love, full everything, all of these better things. So betterment requires that you are seeking something outside of where you are, at least in my logical brain.
That makes sense.
And I basically left a comment, was like, this is a very victim mentality that you're framing here. You're kind of pointing fingers at somebody else. And look, here's the reality, and I'm going to break it down into a scenario. So you're stuck in mud, right? Like you're on the road, stuck in mud. And I come by, and I have a few tricks to maybe try and get you out of the mud. And you listen to me, and the tricks that I give you don't work.
Sure.
But now you're going to vilify me, and you're going to tell me I'm the reason you're stuck?
In this situation, yeah.
No, that's not fair.
Yeah.
I tried to help you. Now, the things that I gave you didn't help you.
Sure.
But don't damn me for trying to help you.
Yeah, I made a choice.
I was trying to get you out of the muck, and I didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
I could have kept walking. I could have said,
A lot of times we don't hold anyone accountable for the choices that led them there. So what led him to get stuck in the mud? Did he not tie his shoes correctly and tripped over? Did he get a flat tire because he neglected to get his car fixed the last few months? That's a lot of time is they scream and cry about the situation that they're in. But we won't have the hard conversation about the accountability of where we led to there in the first place.
Right.
And a lot of times this comes from childhood. This comes from parenting, not parenting, basically.
Yeah.
Of like, well, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Don't touch that. I told you it's hot.
Yes.
And then you touched it. And they're like, oh my God, it's hot.
It's like,
well, I told you it was hot, baby.
I told you. Well, I didn't have a concept of what you meant.
So here's the deal, guys. We told kids, you don't have to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
You can just get whatever you want whenever you want. And you can just, you just, and we've kind of raised people to be very entitled.
Right.
And that they can have things without sacrifice or hard work. And that if they find themselves in a situation, it happened to them.
Yes.
Not led by the choices they made. Mm-hmm. That's just happened to them.
Right.
And I've had plenty of situations like that in my life. And then I've had plenty of situations where something like Michael getting cancer, where I'm like, we didn't deserve that.
Right.
We didn't make choices that led up to those things. Like, what the hell?
Right.
And you still didn't see us screaming over here, like, help us, help us. Like,
Right.
a lot of times, people want to be a victim because it's actually comfortable. Mm-hmm. Sure is, to have everybody cater to you and hold your hand and tell you how great everything is. But you're the one stuck in the mud, in debt, and without the job, you lost your kids, and you've divorced a few times, or, whatever these negative experiences that you've painted to be negative, led by what?
Right.
Choices you made, after a certain point, after about mid-adult or, mid-teenagehood, it's about your choices.
Right.
A lot of it was your parents. They did choose to live here. They did choose this kind of job, or not to work, or whatever choices they led to your existence and your being for some time. But after a certain point, you are responsible for yourself, little birdie. Mm-hmm. And whether you decide to leave the nest or fall down the nest or fly out of the nest, make a new one, make a new community or not, that's all up to you. Right.
And they're probably going to die before you, so you can spend the rest of your life resenting them if that's your choice.
But we definitely have created, I see a generation of kind of this lack of accountability with entitlement kind of mixed together of, I just don't want to sacrifice. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Were you raised to be comfortable? Yes, apparently. Yeah. Because I was not. I was not raised in any way, shape, or form to be comfortable in any way whatsoever. And being in survival mode for 31 years led me here. And I would much rather been led by that force than the opposite force. Yes. The opposite force of, you don't have to do anything. Well, I'm watching what that fruitates. Yes. And that's a lot of miserable people right now. Mm-hmm. And a lot of miserable people that I'm not currently getting along with.
Yeah, right? Right. And
because we all came from the same place, and we're having different results.
Now, as a question, do they run away from you? Because I find that, like, if they just kind of exit. They say, I don't want to be your friend. And I'm like, okay.
Yes, yeah.
I haven't had to do anything.
It's
really.
actually not too often I need to say or do anything.
Yeah.
It's mostly you're intimidated, not me being intimidating. And a lot of it is I make really hard choices. You make really easy choices. Yeah. And we came from the same place, but we make different choices and we achieve different results. And you're upset about those results. Yeah. And I'm currently getting it from everybody right now. Yeah. But like you said, you can twist my being all you want. You can twist your words and the stories and all the things all you want. I know authentically what I do and choices I make and the truth of them. Right. And the results of them are happening.
Well, and I like how you said you took it all the way to your death. And I don't think a lot of people do that. Mm-hmm. And it's an amazing thing to me to experience something like COVID, which honestly I was completely shocked that people hadn't gone there already. Yeah.
And it blows my mind a little bit that you still have. It does blow my mind a little when I say to people, "Have you thought about your death?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "How have you not thought about your death every day, always?" I've been put in life and death situations way too many times by childhood, so there's survival mode in mine particularly. But I cannot deny that all of us were terrified during that time for our lives at one point or another. So how are you living any day the same right now? Blows my mind. Yeah. But I do understand because it's comfortable and we're making choices from a self-limiting or traumatized base of being. Right. That's just being human.
Well, yeah. And it's a difficult thing to look at.
Oh, it's so hard. That mirror was awful, guys. That was an awful mirror to look at. Yeah. And say those words and it was so uncomfortable. I cried so much, and Mike held me, and I know there's a lot of places in Bottoms that people are not being held, that they didn't have a mirror, that they're laying in a street, that was a very privileged place for me to be a rock bottom. Understand that, guys, that a lot of people's other rock bottoms is overdoses, or their parents passing away tragically. Or
not to freak you out, but you have a lot of life to live.
I got a lot of life to live. Everybody does.
Life tends to go like this.
It does.
And I'm making a wave kind of motion, roller coaster.
And y'all have to, we got to realize that our time is so short. I just had a really good friend pass away this weekend, a mentor of mine. She was only 35.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And y'all might know her, Jessie Lee Ward. She's, I'm Boss Lee. She's a social media marketing extraordinaire. I mean, millions in sales. She's up there in some really serious people.
But I'm glad we're calling attention to her. And
she's amazing. So,
lived a great life.
You wouldn't believe how many people she influenced and mentored and taught and influenced my life particularly. And I know many people in my circle as also. So it's a perspective that she was so aware of everything through her process. She got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer about 7 months ago.
Lord.
And she was so like, I'm living my life every day, still going after it, still doing this. What are y'all doing? What excuse do y'all have? And that's what I loved about her, because that's the way I live too. And that's why we became on fire when we met. It was like, hi, somewhat like me person, soul sister. So bless Jessie Lee. I know she's in a light place because she's a light being.
Yeah.
And it's perspective of, she's only 35. And she did, I'm talking 50 years worth of living in that time, but that was her message.
People are just angels.
Yeah, that was her message.
I really do.
Yeah.
I think that they have, they're I don't know what obviously this is all things, but I don't think that anything ends.
Yeah.
I think that there's a continuum, and I do think that what you understand and what you can kind of, bring into your focus, and how you live your life and how you are in each moment dictates how you will go. And I do think that past death, if we do get to come back, I don't know.
Right.
But if we do, I do think that there are some souls that are like, they get to see the whole thing, and they're like, yep, that's what I want to do. I want to be that person. I want to inspire all of that in other people. And yeah, I know it's a kind of grisly end, but that's cool. Just go, I'm
not gonna lie to you, Amy, I felt that way my whole life. Yeah. I really have. I felt that I'm just here to serve this purpose and teach this courage, teach this authenticity, have this story, because you don't go through what I've been through as a child and live a nothing life.
Yeah.
You just don't. Yeah. Or at least come out on top of it and have nothing to say.
Right.
I've got a lot to say.
You can, but like you said, it's just not going to have...
What fulfillment would you feel? You know? And that's where I feel fulfilled, is sharing my authenticity. That holding back this person feels wrong.
Yeah. Oh, no, it is wrong. It
is.
I'm investing in the Bible right now. It's actually biblical. Like, if you're given a gift, which... I think all of us are given our very own callings, our very own gifts for this world.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
If you are given those gifts and you don't figure out how to have them ripple out from you and manifest more gifts to the world around you, it's not, because you're supposed to account. There's accountants and everything, whether you're looking at the end of your life, or if you actually, if you believe in God, or you believe in an ultimate judge. And I do think that's really what about that looking in the mirror is. Am I going to look in the mirror and see? Am I going to accept the truth? Am I going to judge this before I reach an ultimate judge? Or I'm going to let this be a pressure point to where I have to stand judgment for every little thing that I have let go, all those little choices that I made? Or can I stand in the face of that?
Yeah. And
be confident that I deserve to stand here and feel okay.
Yeah. That's a lot of it right there, is just feeling deserving.
Yeah.
Believing in yourself that you are worthy of anything. Yeah. That I've always tried to find a word in any language of the way this is described in a book, of how many millions of miracles it took for you to be even born.
Yes.
And then the exponential amount of miracles it took for you to stay alive and make it this far is such an insane amount of trillions of miracles that there's not even a word for it.
I mean, gratitude is
that's basic. And that's the ultimate state of
love.
That's the ultimate state of receivership is gratitude. You will not receive anything without gratitude, and that's where a lot of people's pain comes from, is we're not even grateful for the pain that we're feeling.
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling this pain because you love so hard, or you had an expectation for something, or and that's the human nature of it. Yeah. Is the pain, is the love, and you have to have both. Sorry to tell you, that's an impossible one to get people to listen and understand. They won't.
Yeah.
You're never going to listen to those words and understand them.
Yeah.
You either feel them or you don't. You either experience it or you don't. And you will feel those experiences through your journey. You will not feel those experiences until you make new choices, though. Yeah. And that is why people don't feel God.
Yeah.
That's where they're like, oh, this whole God thing or religion. Or what that tells me is that we're still living in fear. That we haven't had gratitude yet.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And that's okay.
Well, I mean, you can only come to it as you come to it.
Yeah, it's in your experiences.
Like I said, it's very neutral how I feel towards, because I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. I mean, recently I've had to be just like telling people like, look, and they don't get it. I mean, I'm trying to formulate it in words because...
That's what I'm saying, is you can say it all you want. Words, words, words. And they'll hear it, and they will never understand it because it's not their experience.
Right.
They have to experience whatever that little miracle is or their little moment of this was impossible and there was something beyond me that made it possible. And
it's true.
It's like a little mini rock bottom thing, or I kind of think that...
On the other side of it, though, I'm so willing to like indulge the pain of it, like getting.
Yes.
I remember I've been trained as a lifeguard, and they tell you that if you're going to be in the business of saving lives, you have to be very careful because approaching somebody who's drowning, they can very easily pull you under with them, and you have to kind of come up behind them, let them rest on you. They're going to be in a state of panic and all of these things, and that all made a lot of sense to me. And you know, I think part of my gifts is kind of allowing people to bite me and get hurt by them just enough so that I can maybe implant a seed of something, a perspective, something for them to consider, because that's really has been my experience. I can't say that the school of hard knocks is something I put myself through.
Sure.
I can't say anybody else really did that to me. I made sure that I felt everything. But because I'm thick. I'm very fucking thick. So like,
there's all these feelings.
Well, I mean, you know, like, because I want to, like you said, I'm analytical and I want to feel it from all angles, and I want to understand it from people, but you are so limited to what your own ability is to even understand a wide array of human experiences. And so I really try to dip into that enough to be able to offer something, because that's what happened to me. Yeah. That's why I have a whole podcast about mentorship and learning and things like that, because my way of learning has always been having conversations, testing my perspective, putting it in a realm that's completely other, and kind of seeing what happens.
Well, you're patient through all the results of those, which most people are not.
Sometimes.
Yeah, well, at least in my perspective you are. At least from here, that you're like, let me experiment.
That's
because
cool that I'm making it look good.
Yeah, at least because a lot of people are not even that brave. So let me just see what happens, what results are what. They go into it of, I'm doing this to achieve this result, and if it doesn't happen, I failed. Right. You're not thinking that way. You're thinking as, there's lots of ways to approach this. Which one might be the best? Which one will achieve the result I'm looking for? Right. That's very brave of you, and it's very patient of you.
Well, I feel like I was gifted with this gift of being able to communicate it, or at the very least, I have a passion to want because I'm codependent, to want to help people beyond reason. Yeah. So it's a charge. It's a charge for anybody who's a foster parent, anybody who, they see a gap in life and they're like, I have to. Yes. I know it's inappropriate. I know I care too much. I get it. I'm just going to get bit. Yeah. I'm going to get bit. I'm going to get hurt. I might drown. We deal regularly with bloodborne pathogen. Anything like, I'm getting Old Testament here, but like anything dealing with blood made you ritualistically unclean. That meant that you were not cool for regular society, that people needed to stay away from you if you were to encounter blood. Wow. Which I mean, it goes back to the subversive nature of even what we do, in essence. Like, that's a very interesting thing to, like, look at, which I'm, like...
I could go all down that.
I'm geeking out about, like,
that.
what I'm, like, learning about the Bible and, like, just certain things, like, and how it relates. Because I've gone, like, every secular way you can go. Every kind of thing. And I don't invalidate any of it. It's all real.
Yeah.
It's all real. And I think it's very important to understand it at its most energy and base level, because that's what I think a lot of people miss, is they're not willing to put themselves in alignment enough with, like, they just want to put it in a box, you're a denier, and then put you in a convenient place so they can remain where they are.
Absolutely.
And I see that very much so. And I've seen it myself. But yeah, I've recognized all of this you've been posting on social media. I know you're not spending a lot of time there, but the things that you have, I'm like, wow, she's going through some really cool shit right now.
I am going through some cool shit. And I'm trying to be very honest through the journey to humanize it and everything, because this looks like the tip of the iceberg stuff. You know, like, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. And I'm just letting y'all know, like, it is, but it's also
it's a lot of work.
I'm telling you, it's also this.
Yeah.
It's both. Both can be true. I'm trying to teach that I'm seeing so much division just in general, in the feelings of everywhere, of everything, just division. And I'm just showing duality instead of division. Yeah. That both can be truth, both their existence, good and bad, positive and negative, which actually all doesn't exist in the first place, but that's a whole other conversation for y'all later.
Well, it's the yin-yang.
It's the yin-yang, and it's all of it, and that everybody expects the iceberg to not have all of those trials and tribulations underneath it, and I make everything look easy, and I will not ask for help, and I will not complain. Yeah. That's very masculine, actually. It's very masculine energy to work that way.
Yeah. Very yang.
It is, and it is. And I will. I sound like a grumpy CEO sometimes, where I'm like, my husband's expecting me to spend time with him. This is silly.
Which is so funny, too, because your way of coming to me, I'm just thinking about this just to give you an abstract view of this. But my association with you was knowing you through Tattooed Heart and knowing John.
That's right.
And he has... It's so funny because both of you do black and gray mandalas for the most part, which, you know, even the mandala aspect of it, you know, usually Buddhists do them and then wipe them away in sand, but we do them permanently. Yeah. Which is interesting.
Whole other thing.
Yeah, but I find it funny that that's the thing. But the look is so different, and I feel like when it comes to mandalas and just, you don't have that energy in your work. Your work still remains very delicate, very meditative, very light and like airy, and I get a lot more feminine from the result.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for making me aware of that, because it is. That's what people tell me my work. They say your work is so feminine, but the physical work is masculine.
Yes.
The physical work is I get up very early and I go to bed real late, and I'm not home with my family. Yep. I'm choosing work over everything. That's very masculine energy. And I won't ask for help. I won't complain, and I won't even make you aware of it. I won't even make you aware of all the things I'm doing. Which has led to my stressful life, where I'm like, oh shit, you can't do it all, Casey Hart. So I've learned to delegate, learned to ask for help, learned to balance my plate with other things, and balance is my third value. And I'm learning that every answer to any question comes down to balance, across the board. So if there's too much of this or too little of that going on, guess what? Out of balance. So definitely learned in these 2 years here that no matter the size of the business, you are going to delegate. No matter what, even if you're a single business owner, which I felt I was as a tattooer prior to opening my own studio. I thought I was a business owner then.
You're like,
it's cute. It's cute, guys.
No, it is.
It's kind of cute until you have a building and an LLC and taxes and all insurance and scary shit like that.
All of it, yeah.
And even if you're just one person, you're going to delegate at some point if you elevate. My work has elevated. My demand has elevated. And now that I have this space, I have too much work demand for one person. And then I taught Ryan. And then he's got too much work for him. So now we're on to our next problem of, like, we got to delegate.
Yeah.
We've got to outsource.
That's a hard one for me, too, by the way.
Very, very hard that this is getting to this level. And I understand that there's people in their journey that are like, fuck you. That's such an awesome problem to have. I've been on both sides of both problems. And they're both problems. And they both have solutions that are difficult to come up with.
Yeah.
But at this point in my career, it is time. It's time to delegate. It's time to go elsewhere a little bit. And
I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little merk, but I don't know if it's me. And I just want to make sure it's not anything. But I was picking it up. Sorry.
I heard too. I don't know what that was.
It's fine. It's better than a full ring. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Squirrel moment.
No, I mean, I'm proud of us, to be honest. We were really good. Like,
Thank you.
We did so good.
We're doing really good.
Hella going, man. I'm proud of us.
I love this. I love this for you. I'd love to touch back more and more because I do see you just scaling more and more about what you know and understand.
So much. I have to write books. I know I do. Yeah. I feel it in my body to start writing.
Do more podcasts.
More podcasts, more things. And just, I'm glad that you like me sharing so much because this has been so scary to share. And that's all I keep feeling is that as long as one person out there is benefiting from me sharing, I am thrilled. I'm losing followers. I'm losing likes. And I'm like, oh, because you ain't my audience. You're still in the fear. You're still in your cycles. And I'm like, oh, ouch to be you. Feels good to be me. Ouch to be you. Feels good to be me. So if you're gone and you're away from my space, that's because I no longer serve that space for you.
Right.
Fine by me. Because you will. You'll externally validate based on your likes and your followers and who's staying around, who's sticking around. If you're still here, oh my gosh, thanks. I love you so much. And if you're new to this, like, welcome to this part of the journey with me. And then if you've left, thanks for coming. Thanks for staying as long as you did.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of it because I couldn't be this person without you being here, even the bad ones. And to let anybody know, I hold nothing, good or bad or hard or soft on any of it. Like, I will hold space for any human on this planet because I understand where you are, where your journey, love you where you are and on your journey, understand your decisions and choices, whether they were good or bad, and you said this bad thing, did a bad thing, and you still talking shit or make bad choices. As long as you came to the awareness of now I'd like to make different ones, and she can help me through that, I will hold that space for you. Anyone on this planet, even my father. Yeah. I do not care. I will hold space. Aww. And that is where all this healing has come from, is stop holding resentment toward all these people who have hurt you. Like you said, I've been bit. I've been smashed and stabbed and squashed. I'm a small human. People love to do that to me. Physically, emotionally, mentally, they love it. But you know what I love even more is being underestimated.
Pardon this interruption, listeners, but I wanted to shout out a really good friend and somebody that I worked with a massive project with. As you guys well know, this is about shouting out people who have made strides and accomplishments in their field. And recently, a friend of mine, Christina Stinchcomb, has put out her first book. It's really, really cool. She's a horseback rider, but more than that, she has recognized something about her practice that is very unique. So I'm just going to read a little bit about this book from the back of it, a little excerpt, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what her book is about. Want to deepen connection with your horse? If you love horses, you know that the connection between you and your horse can be one of the most meaningful and fulfilling connections of your life. And you might have been told that to deepen the connection with your horse, you need to deepen the connection with yourself. But how do you do that? Riding with the Chakras lays out a trail map of insights along with guided exercises to illuminate your inner wisdom and assist you in connecting more fully to yourself, your horse, and the world around you. Doesn't that sound awesome? This book can be found on Amazon right now. You can also get in contact with Christina if you're interested. She's in Chestertown, Maryland, and her stables is called Airy Hill Stables. Her website is airyhillstables.com. So go check it out. See what she's up to. If you're into horses already, this might really, really excite you. If you have never, never thought about it before, maybe this might actually get you thinking about starting a practice with horses and horseback riding. I can tell you that horses have been a big gift in my life. I truly see them as gifts from God. They are so peaceful, and I hope one day I can get back to it. But in any event, let's get back to our podcast and hear more about Casey and her awesomeness. Yeah.
And I am very well underestimated, and then you don't like me because I will outwork you. I will outdo.
I was going to ask you if you feel like, because I do think that part of the sparring that I had these conversations with Natalie, and if you remember her, Natalie Stuckey, she was very small.
Yeah.
And we would have these conversations that were really great because, not to fetter your wrap up, because that was a great wrap up, giving all that gratitude. But like, I did want to ask you if you felt like a lot of, because I do feel like some of the privilege that I've had is being a bigger human and being somebody
so
that
you like it as a
people
privilege,
do not,
an advantage for you.
Yeah, because I can reach a shelf without a stool, and
Man,
I can you know, like,
it's a beautiful thing.
Natalie used to be like, Amy, you just need to understand, and it really didn't click for me until Rico, of all people, walked in. He was like looking at the girls in our shop, and he was like, that one needs a gun, that one needs a gun, that one probably has a knife.
Exactly.
And you and Kinsey could probably just do with some mace and you'll be fine. And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm just telling you that from like a male and from
it's true. And like my physical appearance has changed so much that it has physically changed. Like, what do I need to do? What did I? Right. And it has absolutely just, it's changed a lot. Just in the physicality of even the way I dress and everything too is a lot more confident than I used to be. I did not used to wear anything like this, show my belly or my arms or my chest. Like I felt so cover everything, so I was so insecure. And I know that could make me more of a target, you know, or even being physically smaller and weaker makes me a target, you know. But I've decided to not fear anything left on this planet. Everyone else walks in so much fear all the time of nothing that's even real. And there's just not much to be physically actually afraid of on this planet besides bears and alligators, murderers, you know, things like that. But, you know, if any of those things were to happen, it'd be part of the journey. So, full-on acceptance. Okay,
right?
I'm all right. I jumped out of the sky, you know.
That's one up on me, too. I was going to say.
You know what? To be honest, where I'm at with this is honestly where Ryan is getting me, where he's learning through Andy Foe, really awesome tattooer, mentor, coach.
Who is it?
Andy Foe. He's amazing.
Okay.
He's the one doing these burpees at night, you know, 4 in the morning. Where they've really got me into this mindset is if they do this every morning, they do 500 burpees by 6 a.m.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And if he's done that by 6 a.m., the struggle of the stencil at 10 is nothing compared to getting up for that 350th burpee. Seriously, he's been through way worse. He's made harder choices by that morning. So nothing else gets to him the rest of the day. And I'm telling you, the more I've disciplined myself in whatever that discipline is for me, it's not 600 burpees. It's 15 minutes of 5-pound weights. That's a lot for Casey Hart, guys. I'm small. Don't you judge me. That is a place for me to start.
It's better than what I do,
exactly. Dude, I'm like, 15 minutes of that is a really hard choice for me to make. So by the time harder choices come up, they don't feel that hard.
Right.
They really don't, because I've already made all these choices to get up early. Oh, that sucks. Do this, eat right, bleh, start my water. Meh, I don't want to. It was way easier to sleep till 9:30 and hit the alarm and hit the alarm and hit the alarm. But then when a really challenging thing came up that day, I'm like, fuck this sucks.
I know, I hate everything.
Oh, I hate everything. But now when I made all these choices by 8 a.m., when things come out throughout my day, I'm like, oh man, you know what was harder?
This
getting
is wonderful.
That was way harder getting up earlier this morning. So I'm learning that from them. They're on a different level of intensity, but I'm in a practice.
Well,
you know?
You are in a practice, and I do think, too, the beautiful thing about it is that you can see it, and you can...
I can switch my mindset real fast, like, oh, I hate this. No, Case, you love this, this feels good,
Well, and you can genuinely love other people and rally them, too, which is the other thing that, like, I've found in my experience that people don't know really how to digest somebody who's a genuine cheerleader of others.
They don't. And they think
don't.
it comes from a place of ego or
Yeah.
selfishness. And I am telling y'all, I love
It's like,
people.
no,
I love
I'm
you.
just like, wow, I'm getting off on your vibe right now.
I
Like,
seriously
this is so
am.
amazing.
If somebody would have told me, Genie lamp, 3 wishes, my first wish would be hold space for every single person on this planet. 1 hour. If I could have 8 billion hours, I would hold 1 hour for every single one of you, or more, however long you need. I would hold that space for you wherever you are in that journey. That's what people need.
You do for everybody that walks through this door.
Exactly.
And works with you.
Every time I hold
hours.
Yeah, hours. I hold
Hours.
hours. And that's what I would want. I want people to feel heard and safe and loved, because that is why you operate at a victimhood in the first place, is that you don't feel heard, you don't feel understood, you don't feel loved. Every human feels that way, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, I'm sorry they did that to you.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
I will hold you. I will tell you I'm sorry. And it's all going to be okay. And what can we do different? What can we do different? What can we control? And I will hold that space for every person on the planet. And wherever you are on your journey, I'm proud of you. You made it this fucking far.
Yeah.
And I know you compare yourself to me.
Yeah.
And to your mom and to your brother and your sister and your friends and all these things. Don't. That's just where we are on the journey. Because I could compare myself to some pretty crazy people, or low people, high people, everywhere and in between.
Yeah.
But I just know that the journey is the destination. That the ugly parts and the fun parts is it, guys. Because once you get to this space of this whole, you own your own shop, and it ain't that great, guys. You get here and you're like, what the hell?
That's a lot.
That's it. That's it. That's all this was. Well, shit.
I'm still trying to sack up to it, my friend.
Mm-hmm. And you're just like, wow, that's not as. That's not as
do, but it's very measured.
Oh, it's extremely measured, and people feel like they're trying to fulfill this thing by doing that thing.
Well, people, at least in my experience, like you said, they kind of equivocate it to all your choices, and it's like, I don't know, like you said, it's a lot of people's choices, a lot of things that happen.
So many little puzzle pieces.
Right, exactly.
Little butterfly effects and things, and you can only control what you can control. You cannot control others. The only thing you can control is how you respond to the stimulus. That's it. And
I've liked how you have responded. It echoes.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Far and wide.
Oh.
It really, really does. I love all the things that you're doing. We didn't even get to it really, but I know that you're doing some sound therapy. Do you wanna,
sound
talk
bath,
about
real
that
fast,
a little bit?
sound bath, Reiki stuff.
Yeah.
So no, people don't even know what any of that even is. So a lot of it come from science. If you like science, like I do, I like science and numbers and things like that, and proof by things like that. Best way I can describe is the feeling when we're all at a concert and we're all in that song, we all have that moment, and we're just like, oh, that feeling, right? That's actually the theta brain state. And sound bowls, these cool ass, you've probably seen the metal ones, little Tibetan guy going bing with the bong, and he's ringing and you're just like, I feel a feeling, and you don't know why. It's actually in the theta brain state. So I've been doing these sound bowls, and now I'm completely obsessed with sound bowl therapy because of the science behind it. It puts you in a theta brain state and allows for basically detox. Move those energies, move your chakras, move all these things around. So I bought them for myself. They're really expensive, to get a 7 set.
I would imagine.
They're about $1,400 for
Yeah,
a set of 7. So I was saving up for them just to buy them for myself because I just saw them as cool things to try. Bought them, loved them, did a few for a few friends, and somebody said, you should start doing them at the shop and see if anyone shows up. Okay.
Awesome.
So I started doing it at the shop, and then I had 30 people show up to the first one. I was like, shit, I have no space. I don't have the space to do this. Oh, no. Okay. So now that there's a demand for it, I need a space.
Wonderful.
So I got a space up in Sparks, Maryland that I do them at. And now that I do them there, they're like, well, you do them at the shop? And now I kind of have a clientele that bounces between the two. And then getting into the Reiki part, I'm doing Reiki tattooing. I looked into Reiki for healing my husband. He has bladder cancer, and I just didn't understand why the traditional treatments, medicines, chemos, it wasn't doing anything. Somebody said, you should try some Reiki. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is. But I'm willing to try anything. I love this man this much. I was so desperate for answers, so desperate to try anything. And I was in so much pain myself. I started to get so desperate I didn't want to be here anymore. And I was like, there's got to be another way. And went and took a Reiki class at CCBC. Just never looked back.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just never looked back. I was like, this stuff just clicks. This stuff just makes sense. wow. And then I had experiences, and I was like, those are undeniable experiences. Then I had results. I'm like, those are undeniable results. Then I find out other people have felt those ways. And I was like, well, we just got to keep going. Because I've never felt that way about anything, where things just kept clicking and making more sense and more community and more and more. Usually I find dead end, dead end, dead end. And I was just like, wow. So now I've incorporated what I would call, the Reiki tattooing, intuitive tattooing. I'm a type A control freak person. Like, I want to know every detail that you could possibly give me about this tattoo, and I'm going to stress over every detail, and I'm going to research and study and watch every show and watch all the things to make sure that your tattoo is awesome. And I'm going to control every part of it. And you're going to control every part of it. And I was like, in this new state of being where I've let everything go. Everything else is completely uncontrolled, right? The only part that wasn't was my job. Was tattooing. Right. Everything else, let go. Tattooing? Did you let go yet? Nope. You're still real strict. You're still real type A about this. I'm like, what happens if you take out the entire control process of the tattoo? Where I don't know what you're getting, you don't know what you're getting, we just go off of what we feel. What happens? I got a couple people together, and I said, cool. What if we try this? And it was insane results. Results. And then I said, what if we combine it with this? What would you pay? What would that look like? And me and my clients have come up with this structure of this Reiki intuitive tattoo process, of this 12-hour thing of come in for a sound bath, come in for some Reiki, you leave. I go back there and I draw how we felt about what you need more than what you want. Nice. What your body says you need. What placement screams. What images scream? Wow. What feelings come out? What are we trying to convey? And what do we need to convey? What is our body telling us instead of what is our brain telling us? What is the heart saying instead of the brain? Yeah. Let's listen to the heart. So I lay down and I listen to your heart. You listen to your heart. And we work through some stuff. Then you leave, you come back, and I can't even tell you. I do 3 hours of drawing in 1 hour.
I love that.
I have all this conceptualizing that happens instantly. Instead of hours of research and hours of research. It all just happens. Flies out of me. They come in, they're like, I don't even understand how you drew this. I'm like, I don't understand how I drew this either. Like, how did you make this from my body? How did you see that? I didn't even see that. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know either. And then we tattoo, and we have the most incredible tattoo process, conversations, everything. And we feel like, just lighter. At the end of the whole thing, we're like, was that really 12 hours?
That's awesome.
Was that really what this experience was? And then I've done that every month, once a month. So they're as close to a full moon as I can get them. And now I feel like I want it to be my whole process, but I don't know how possible or feasible or
it's possible,
tangible you can get it. Because there are people that do this. I'm trying to find them, and they're finding me. There's people that do this.
Well, it's funny. This might be a connector. I don't know. I'd like to connect him with as many people because I just think he's incredible. But before your podcast airs, I'm going to have my friend John Simmons, who's my acupuncturist.
Oh, how cool.
And so he's actually going to be airing tomorrow.
Very cool.
But he started out with Reiki.
Wow.
But his experience was much different because, when he started it was years ago.
Yeah.
And
that's different.
He could prove it to people. And they were like, yeah, I feel that. And he's like, okay. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they would
just dismiss it.
And they would just dismiss it.
Yeah.
But you figured out a way to integrate that within what you already did.
Yeah.
And I find that's really, really cool. He same thing. We were exploring in his podcast, why he went into acupuncture. He's like, because people need a tangible thing.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's to make
sense
sense of the things that don't make sense. And we're so grateful. I'm grateful for technology that we can get to that point. Like, I don't know if y'all know, we've measured chakras on science. I'm not good at explaining it. I don't have that kind of degree, but I'm telling you, they've printed it. They made a chart, and they said, look, frequency, energy. We can see the colors. We can physically see the colors now.
I believe it.
And it's like, we've been saying that for 6,000 centuries. We've been saying this, guys. Wow.
I brought it up to my congregation, which was a very
I'm sure
butt-puckering thing. But
butt-puckering's hilarious.
I mean, I think that's part of the reason why I'm there. I don't know. But I said, I find it hard to discount something that is so much older than the Christian faith.
Oh, totally.
When it comes to the chakras, I do think that's very real because, blind people can actually feel color. They can
Totally.
feel those things. And I said, so God, right, is what we perceive as like there is light. God is this white, brightest that you could think of light. It's like, so what if our bodies are prisms?
They are.
And yeah, exactly. And when light passes through us, what you see is a rainbow.
Totally.
And that is what that rainbow is.
And energy
that promise
moves at frequencies and things like it's just
and it's
nuts.
biblical in its story of how that rainbow, that view of the rainbow was God's promise not to destroy the world again, like in that biblical Noah.
Beautiful.
So like this attachment that we have to this world and to this that we are not going to get destroyed, that we are going to actually figure out how to reconnect. And I think it's all, and it's funny because if you even go beyond, because I listen to everything, I'm not just, I believe in God, and I have my faith that I'm walking now, but I don't discount the thoughts, because I think it's everything. I think it's everything, and I am attached more so to the feeling, that hardcore feeling. It is, I mean, we can't really perceive light until it passes through something anyway. We can't perceive color. All of those things are with light bouncing off of something else.
Yes.
So that is our perception of things, that tangible thing. But the energy's there. And so I don't discount the energy. I very much so. I felt it before I even knew how to, I can't articulate it, I'm trying. Yeah. But like all of those things, and many religions talk about it. Yeah. Many faiths, like in Nordic,
stands the test of time.
Yes. In Nordic philosophy, they say you have to go through a rainbow bridge in order to get to.
Stands the test of time.
Yeah. It's crazy how reminiscent people have noted these things throughout all time and space. Yep. And I geek out about it.
Me too. I love watching the connections of it, and it's really sad that it's gotten to a place of this is what we go to war over. And
division, I see that too.
Yeah, and like I try
on both sides.
On both sides, I totally understand it. But I come from such a perspective of looking at everything outside and from here, and I'm just like, I see all the similarities, and I count all the things of all the ways we're more alike than different, and I see so much about duality instead of division. It's both, yes,
and it's a choice.
It's not one or the other.
To see
it's
it that
both.
way.
Yeah, and it is. It's a mindset and it's a choice. And I've been that person. Actually, I spent a majority of my life being the person that was in fear and agnostic and like, oh no, there is no God, there is no any of this.
It's a rough thing.
That's a rough thing when you're physically in this space and having a conversation with me. That took a lot of miracles to happen that are undeniable. And that don't make sense. They don't, which we've come to terms with, that don't make sense.
I mean, from my perspective, it makes perfect sense, and it's very personal, but it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And everything that I've seen of you equivocates to that.
Wow, thank you. That's all I'm looking for is integrity and living as long as, to me,
bravo.
Thank you. Oh my God. Like, thank you. That's all I can say is thank you because I'm trying so fucking hard.
It's all seen.
Oh, as long as it's seen by one person is all that matters, because I'm hoping it encourages people to do the same, even if it's for a moment, mini moments.
This whole moment has encouraged me. I mean, you've just told me about so many things, and I'm like, dude, light the fire under your ass already, Amy.
Let's go. Let's not make any more excuses, because the excuses keep you in the program. That's what they are. So you're that whole 95% of the unconscious. Excuses are trying to keep you in that cycle. Like, oh, but remember, we're lazy. Oh, remember, we like eating terrible. Yes. Remember, we don't like going to bed early. Remember, we like sleeping in. Yes. That's what excuses do. Excuses are keeping you there. And then that new scary thing of like, haha, potential. Yes. You're like, well, that's not in the program. Correct. It's not in that wasn't in the syllabus. You're right. It wasn't.
We're going to reprogram.
We got to reprogram. And that's the beautiful thing about being human and having a brain. Yeah. But we also have a heart. Yep. And we do not listen to the heart. We do not spend time with the heart. You will spend all of your time from the brain. We've never turned it off. Sometimes at the Reiki, sometimes at a sound bath. It's the first time they've ever turned off their brain.
now I'm so excited because I thought I wanted to get tattooed by you before, and I definitely did. Now I really
It's
do.
a whole thing to be tattooed by me,
now
right?
I really do.
This is why, I guess, is because it's not just getting a tattoo.
And
it's
I
a whole
actually
thing.
have something that I really do want to submit to you, too.
Fuck yeah.
Because
I
I
love
feel
this.
like so we're going to share it live. Well, not live because we're recording.
This is live
But
here for us.
when it plays, it'll be live. Just to let people know what I'm willing to submit myself to. And I'll wait as long as it takes because you're only going to get better and better at this as you go. Because, you got people that you're already working with. But I was told, actually, by a Reiki specialist, an energy healer. She said, I was born with an underdeveloped hip. I had hip issues from birth. I've felt things that other kids have never had to feel. But because of that, my right side is an issue. I'm now having, I have a very particular thing. It's basically benign tumors. That's what they would consider it. But it's called synovial chondromatosis.
Okay.
Very weird thing. One of those obscure things that they'll never get enough funding to figure out what the fuck it is.
Yeah, not enough research.
They say they know what it is, but they don't know what causes it. But it's like, okay, well, that just means that you're not going to take the money to figure out what the fuck it is.
Of course.
So I gotta live with this.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Thanks,
so now
American
I'm on the
Healthcare.
Facebook groups and all that stuff. But she
American
told me,
Healthcare Facebook group.
and you told me the men in your life. Well, in therapy, in every aspect, it's come to call on what men are in my life. And she said, "Oh, you had a congenital issue with the right side of your
right
body."
side is the masculine
She's
body.
like, "It's the men in your life.
Yes.
It was the supporting elements of your
Yes.
life, which is the masculine.
Yeah.
It's your, who
Sits
your
in the right
mother
there.
had." And I was like, "You'd have to know a lot more about me to know how pivotal that is."
Absolutely.
But I want you to do something on my leg.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would be very healing.
Love it.
And I would love to just see whatever you come up with.
Absolutely.
And I feel like the other reason is that every single apprentice, and I've let them have this leg as a kind of free-for-all for their growing exploits, which I really do enjoy.
Yeah.
But they don't want to talk to me anymore, and I feel like there's maybe some added things that are
we can
kind of
Reiki
bound up in that. So
yeah, we can.
I have a project for you.
I love that, and what I love that.
Sorry to turn this into like a mini consultation out of nowhere.
What I've been just so grateful for in my work is that I put out this state of being, and the result of it is people letting me do whatever comes to my heart, because I think people just trust whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's not really me. It's the message.
No, I know it's not you.
It's the message.
I know where it's coming from.
It's coming from source. It's
But
coming,
I want it.
and I want that message.
But I want
exactly.
it. I want all this.
I'm able to listen. I'm
Yeah.
able to remove my ego from that state and give you a full, authentic answer. Because here's what happens. You say, my grandpa died. And I say, well, my grandpa died harder.
Yeah.
He died of this kind of kid. It's a big fish thing.
What do you know?
What do you know? You're like, I broke my ankle. I broke both my ankles. You know, and that's how it always goes. When you hold space for somebody and you start to do that, your ego gets in the way. Well, I've been through harder stuff, and I've been through this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You will never hold space for that person. You'll never truly feel like what it feels like to be that person. So when I hold space for somebody, it's what I literally do. I remove my entire physical experience, push it aside, let source come in is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens from here on is truth.
Yeah. Exactly.
It just is.
It just
whatever
is.
is.
Yeah.
And it's why people want to work with me. Blows my freaking mind that I'm putting out my being.
Yeah.
And then the result is, you get to do what you want. Oh, fuck yeah. Because I'm not
That's what I've been
stressing.
wanting to do.
That's what I've been wanting to do. Because I'm not stressing anymore about what I need to research and what I need to do. And I can't believe this. I can't even believe someone as talented as you. I've always looked up to as an artist. I will never ever tattoo because she's way too fucking good. Here you are. And I've had multiple artists come up to me recently too. Like that. I'm like, I respect you. There's no way you would let me tattoo your body. I suck at this. I suck at tattooing. And they're like, no. And I still feel this way. I'm about to hit 12 years. And I still feel like...
It's awesome.
Oh, I know. I still feel like
That's
I have no
awesome.
idea what I'm doing tattoo-wise. I'm like, I learn every day on how to do this.
Well, I mean, you put it well.
Thank you.
In the course of this, because it's not. It's being comfortable in that state of discovery and being excited by it and being able to. People trust you to go along with you in that experience, and they know that that you're braving just as much, if not more,
yes.
of it.
Yes, and I'm not going to lead someone in a bad direction,
Yes.
and I will lead with truth and positivity and the most authentic thing for you. I will never lead someone in a bad direction. I've sent people home when they don't love the stencil, and like, Casey, I love it. Like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't actually. And it's extremely rare, but I will feel everything that you're feeling. You can't hide from me. Sorry, can't lie to me. Can't hide from me. I am the mom on that part of like the eyes behind my head. I have them all over. That third eye, it's all over.
Yeah.
You can't lie to me. I will see through it all. But I feel so honored that you would even grace me with that and grace me with your presence in the first place. So thank you for even putting that into the future for us, because that's going to be beautiful.
Nothing special. I just had to run at this profession a little bit sooner than you.
Just a little sooner.
That's it. And I'm a little older, so I've had a lot more time.
There's just more time.
Yes, that's it. And as you know, I'm not a business owner. I mean, I am, but I'm not on this scale. And there's a lot of things that you've accomplished that I haven't accomplished by your age. So if I'm looking at that, which I'm not going to judge my journey in there, because it's going to look different. It's going to be what it is. I have a lot of hope for it. But I am super inspired by you.
Thank you.
And I have seen you throughout, like,
so much
in bullet points throughout.
Gosh,
like, I
really
can't know, because that's what this is we're sharing that, but and only like a brief snippet of that. Oh my God, we've been talking for almost 3 hours.
Y'all love us. Thank you so much. If
Holy
you're hanging
crap.
out, if you hang out this long with us, and this is probably the most boring thing ever
No,
for
I'm
y'all.
super
Love you all so much.
This is lots of content.
This happens all the time, actually, with me. So sorry. They say that Painful Pleasures came in to do
I'm
stuff,
amazed.
and they just like, Casey, we asked you one question, you talked for 8 straight minutes, and now we have literally months of content. Thank you.
No, this is great.
I could talk
great
forever.
content.
This is why I need to write a book, and where I'm learning is to listen.
And I'm going to be so happy about the people that you're going to get from this.
Yeah, it's going to be all kinds of cool people.
It's going to be so
Please
much
come.
more in alignment.
I
If they
will
follow
always
this
talk to you.
through to the end,
If y'all are here, I'll tat you.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
I'll tat you.
I'll tat you. It might take you some time, but I will get to you.
Well, that's how things go.
I
It
plan to
comes
do
in
this a
time.
very long time, guys. I keep myself in very good health and mental good health so that I can tattoo. I plan on being a very old lady pulling lines on y'all. So
Yeah.
don't think I'm going anywhere. I might be going a lot of places, but I'm not going anywhere without y'all. So
I heard it. You're grateful, and you asked for that. You're like, if I can hold space for every single person.
oh, I would. I seriously would.
So I see a lot of this ahead, which is going to be very fucking cool.
Some cool stuff happening.
I think we've already wrapped it, but I need to say thank you to you.
I need to say thank you to you too.
You're
Amy.
awesome.
Thank you. You're awesome.
You're awesome. Is there anything that you want to shout out? I mean, for the business, for anything? I mean, how can people, the best way to contact you, anything?
So definitely, we're here at the Foxwood Tattoo Collective. So we're in Eldersburg, Maryland, and we have an excellent website, foxwoodtattoocollective.com. And then my personal stuff would also be CaseyHartTattoos.com. My Instagram is artxhearttattoos right now, but I actually plan on rebranding all of 2024. Whole new name, whole new everything, so we'll see how that looks. That's a big risk, big scary stuff. But so if you find this and you can't find me, you'll find me through Foxwood at the very least. Because I feel like that deserves that this person deserves a new name, new brand, new kind of everything. So we'll kind of look into next year. I'd like to be able to take more people, or the right kind of people, I should say. I am looking to work with like-minded people, and people that are in this journey. So it's going to look different next year, like it does every year. But I appreciate everyone's grace and patience through it all. They always are. Y'all are always so great through everything. I couldn't do it without any of y'all. So, love you so much.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, diary listeners. I don't usually close with anything, but this was a special time for me, and this final comment for me is very much so just giving gratitude, very much so to all of you for listening, because I definitely feel that Casey's message and the things that she has done are just so massive. In 3 years, she's revolutionized her life, and I'm just so grateful that she took the time to meet with me Casey, thank you for giving me space. It was very clear that, it is very clear that you're willing to do that for anyone. And I think this is a great example of that, because I definitely am a person that am trying very hard to do that myself. I think this podcast is that kind of mission for me. So I think that you were very gracious with your message and your time with me and this podcast. You definitely gave me just as much space to offer insight, even though this was your journey. So I really want to thank you for that. And listeners, thank you for always coming back and sharing these moments with me and our guests. It's just so massive, and I definitely feel that this is going to continue to scale in the future. God bless all. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks for listening. You can find the Apprenticeship Diaries on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our IG is the_apprenticeship_diaries. If you would like to offer constructive criticism or an interview, drop us an email at theapprenticeshipdiaries@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from our listeners.